Hi Suzanne and hi Annette, thanks for joining today. We'll start right pretty soon. Getting set up? Great, awesome. Thanks for joining me in my mobility today. You can see me all right? Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yeah, but can you tilt your camera?
You want it to be vertical? Like that?
That way, yeah. Like that, yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. All right, okay. Here we go. Cool. Thanks for joining me this morning. I'm just gonna run through some mobility stuff that I love to do in the morning to wake up the body, my joints, my muscles, so I can, whatever I take on the day, I can do. Okay, so we're just gonna stand or kneel, whichever is more comfortable for you. And we're gonna start with the head. We're gonna look all the way to the left. So, and draw a half circle to the other side. Slowly. And making sure on the left or right side we're not tilting up or tilting down. So we're just straight right or left, half circle. I'm gonna inhale on one side and exhale on the other. Yeah. If your neck is feeling extra tight, you can hold your elbows in the back to try to keep the shoulders down. All right, and we're gonna move on to the shoulders. Let me know if there's any body part that you worked on today. I can modify stuff a little bit for you guys. And then make sure that elbow, when it comes up, it's pointing straight towards the ceiling. So So really big circles. Yeah. And again, we're gonna use our breath. We're gonna inhale, going up, and exhale, going down. Slow is the name of the game. We're not trying to rush this at all. Slow and controlled. And then on the next in-breath, we're just gonna turn the other way, other direction. Nice. And just feel as if there's any different on the left to right side. And just be aware. Okay. And now, for this one, I like to stand up. So the arm is dead weight, okay? We're just using the core, the body, to swing our arms. So my arms aren't activating any muscles at all. It's just the midsection, the torso that's swinging. I like this as a way to wake up my core, my stiff lower back. Sometimes it helps crack my spine. Okay, now we're gonna bring our arms up. And now this one is active, totally active and controlled. Okay, we are using our core, our torso, to twist our body to the left or to the right. Okay, trying to point our belly button towards one side of our room to the other. Okay, and again, notice if one side is a little bit harder to twist than the other. Okay. All right, and now we're gonna do a twist again, but with one arm. So you're gonna go across, across, across with a twist. And we're gonna use our breath, a sharp exhalation when you turn. Okay, control the core, don't let your lower back arch as you do it. Good. So now we're warmed up the upper body. We're gonna start with the hips now. Just small and then to big circles, as big as you can draw. So the aim is with the upper and lower body is separate. We're trying to keep the upper body as upright as possible while doing these circles. So on one side of the hip, you feel a stretch here. On the front, you'll feel a hip flexor stretch. Stretch on the other side, okay? So I want you to really do it really slow and really just feel any of the muscles. If it feels tight or easier, then you feel that. Okay, and now slowly on the other side, other direction. Okay, Susanna, you can do it a slightly slower, a little bit more controlled. So just really slow. Draw it as big as you can. Push your hips as far out as you can, as far to the front as you can. Good. Okay, and now we're gonna do another hip opener with challenge to balance, okay? We're gonna stand on one leg, bring the knee to the center, and do these circles, hip half circles, let's say. Yeah. So we're going from the inside to the outside, inside to the outside, inside, outside. Okay, and we're basically trying to keep that torso as square to the front as possible. Okay, very slow. And notice if one side feels different or harder than the other. Just notice it. You don't really have to do much about it. but to just bring awareness to it. Okay. So if you find this challenging, you can use the arms on the side to help you balance. Yeah. Okay. And now we're going to switch directions, going from the outside to the inside. Okay. Outside to the inside. Outside to the inside. Inside. Nice. Good. Nice. Cool. And we're going to move on to the ankles. We're going to sit down for this one. Okay. So we're just going to either have your legs cross under or just have both in the front. I like it on the ground just for a little bit more stability. And then you're just going to hook one knee onto your elbow. And then we're going to do ankle circles. And again, go very slow. I want you to be very deliberate in making as big a circle as possible. So you're pointing to one side of the room, pointing to yourself, pointing to the other side of the room, and then pointing to the ground, connecting the dots. Okay? Yeah. And use your eyes. Just watch your feet. See if, generally turning inside towards your other leg is easier than pointing outside to the other side. But I want you to really try to match the angle of the turn. Okay, and now the other direction. Draw big, big, big circles. So you're pointing to yourself, other side of the room, floor. Great. And now the other side. We're waking up the ankle joint here. So you'll definitely feel your calves work. If you got tight calves, this will be a little bit harder for you. But that's why we do these, right? Okay. So it's a little bit harder for me on this leg because I do have a tighter calf on this side. But you're gonna just try to draw as big a circle, as deliberate as you can. Okay, and switch directions. Awesome. Cool. Here we're gonna go into a use your mat, and we're gonna go onto a lunge. Okay. So we're gonna do a little small stretchy flow here. So we're gonna go start kind of hip width apart. So make sure that your leg is not too wide or too narrow. Should be about hip width apart. And then we're just gonna go into a lunge. Okay, with the back foot lifted. Back foot lifted, knee down, and then toes pointing to yourself. And then toes back down, knee up. So we're just gonna go into this flow for a little bit. Okay. When your back knee's up, you should feel your hip flexor stretch. If you don't really extend that back knee, okay, make it straight instead of bending it, okay? Then you'll feel more of your hip flexor stretch. Then your knee down. And then here we're stretching our hamstrings. And if you really try to point the toes to yourself, you should feel your calves as well. Okay, so we're just flowing here. Notice where you feel the biggest stretch. So this is your own pace, right? If you want to stretch out your back leg a little bit more in the hip flexor, do so. If you really feel tight here and you want to hang out here a little bit more, then do so as well. Okay? Self-pace on your own time. You You decide how you want your practice to look like today. Okay, and in the next flow, we're gonna take both our hands onto the floor and try to go into a downward dog if you're familiar. So here, we're really trying to make an upside down V shape. Hips really high, arms are very active, there's no bend to the elbow at all. Okay, and we're just gonna pedal here a little bit. Okay, feel the calves. Stretch the bottom of your foot. And again, notice if there's a difference to the left to right side. If it feels nice, you can hold. Okay? If you want a really intense stretch on your calf, you can just hook one foot behind the other calf to give a little bit more weight and just like really hold and sink your weight into that one foot. Maybe even rock side to side to feel the difference between the inside or the outside of the calf. Okay? Alright, so in a few seconds we're going to take our opposite leg, which is my left leg, and go back to the lunge. So you're just going to switch legs from your first side, okay? And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go into a lunge. Feel that hip flexor stretch on the back leg, knee down, and then walk your hands back into a half split, okay? Really point that toe in the front to your face. Feel the hamstring stretch, calf stretch, and then slowly walk back, lunge. And again, make this your own practice, okay? Just feel and be aware of where you need it in the body. And spend more time in any place you feel you want to hang out more. Come up again. Okay, so this whole time I want you to just be aware to keep these hip bones level. So if I had laser beams, it should be pointing straight, not one way or another. So just have a little bit more of a flow and notice if you've been doing that or not. Nice. So in the next one, we're going to do a really quick transition back to downward dog. Really push and drive up with your hands, going back to downward dog. And then we're going to really just quickly bring our other foot to the outside of the right hand. Okay? So right foot to the outside of the right hand. So we're in a really deep lunge here. Okay? Just have a rock back and forth. Feel out that hip. So we're stretching the front hip of the right leg. The hip of the front leg, which is the right side. Okay? And then we're going to bring that knee to the ground. And we're going to take the right hand to go grab the left foot on the inside of the foot in a quad stretch, and then we're going to really try to bring the right shoulder to the right knee and just hold here. So slow breaths in and slow breaths out. 3 seconds in and 3 seconds out. Try to keep the chest square, shoulders square to the ground. Okay. And then we'll slowly release the hand and slowly place your foot back down on the mat. Press, bring your hands back to the inside of your foot. And again, we're gonna press back to downward dog. And a quick transition, back, left foot outside of the left hand, okay? So here, we're just gonna, again, kind of rock a little bit, back and forth. Just feel the hip open. And you should also feel a hip flexor stretch in the back back leg. Okay. If you don't feel a stretch in your hip flexors, you can really try to extend this knee. So I don't want it bent like that. Really extend the knee. And again, if it feels too intense for you in the back leg, you could also bend the knees a little bit to ease off. So you decide how intense you want your practice to be. Rock a little bit more. Notice if this side feels a little bit different again. Okay. And now back knee down. And now I want you to actually actively bring that heel to your butt, okay? So instead of going to grab it, I want you to meet your hands halfway. Grab your foot in the middle of the inside foot, and then bring that shoulder down to your knee. Slow breaths here. Inhale, 3 seconds. And exhale, 3 seconds. Inhale and exhale. Cool. And slowly release the hand, but keep it a little bit active and slowly, gently place the foot on the ground. And then we're just gonna walk our hands back so we can come to a seat. Okay. Actually, we're gonna stay here in a tabletop position. Okay. We're gonna wake up our core a little bit. So make sure it's 90 degrees from your shoulder to your torso and 90 degrees from the hip to the torso, 90 degrees from the knee to the foot. And then we're just gonna press and have our knees right off the ground. Hold here for a little bit. Keep breathing. So you should feel it in your cores, quad. You're also stretching your toes. Okay. If it feels too difficult at any time, you can just relax. But we're gonna go into a knee to elbow tap here. Okay. We're also waking up your hips, your wrists and your arms. Okay. I want you to keep your arms completely locked, no bend at all in the arms. And just slowly come in and out of the taps. And again, if it's too intense for any part of your body, just take a short break. Okay, take a short break. Tap, tap, and tap. Nice, cool. Well done. That's a little bit of a harder bit of this mobility. Okay, we're gonna stay here and we're gonna do a body twist. So again, tabletop position. Take your right arm up and bring it down across your body, under your other arm. Bring your head down, and we're just gonna go into a twist. Okay? So you're trying to reach this, the bottom arm, which is my right arm right now, reaching it as far as you can, using your other hand to support yourself. Okay? And then the other arm, you can use it as a counterweight, bring it above you, or you can just have it here to push away the floor. If you've got any tightness in the lower back, the hips, you might feel a stretch here on that right side. Breathe. Slow breaths in and slow breaths out, and try to send air into that lower back or anywhere else you feel tight to try to inflate it and stretch it even more. Nice, and slowly you're gonna use that left hand as support and unthread yourself. Okay? Same thing to the other side. We're gonna bring the left hand up and then string it under the other arm and then head down. Use that hand for support, but if you want, you can also really try to twist like that with the hand up. And in your next breath, slowly come back out, and we will come to a kneeling position. And so in the last 5 minutes, we're going to do another small flow to stretch the side body. We're going to take one foot to the side. Okay, keep the toes pointing as forward as possible, that one. Line up the middle of that foot to your knee. Okay, we're gonna bring the arms up, and then we're gonna fall to the right side or the side where the leg isn't out. Okay, and we're just gonna flow here. Okay. So inhale one way, exhale one way, and just feel where your restrictions are, and just bring awareness to it. That's all I want you to do for now. Okay, and in the next breath or next flow, we're gonna bring our body down towards the side that's anchored. Okay, we're gonna hold here. We're gonna find ease. Okay, I know it might be a little bit uncomfortable and it might feel quite tight. We're gonna stretch, trying to lengthen this side body. Okay, and with each inhale in, I want you to think about inflating this side, stretching out even more. And then with each exhale, I want you to reach a little bit farther, a little bit deeper. Control your breath. The exhales and the inhales should be the same time. If you find yourself having short breaths, change that. Bring awareness to your breath. Okay, and in the next exhale, I want you to swing windmill back up, and we'll stretch towards the other side. You can use your hand on your other leg as support, and really try to thrust your hip to the other side while you, instead of thinking about reaching towards the ground, I want you to think about reaching towards the other corner of the room. Again, use your breath. Inflate the side body wherever you feel most tight. It could be the shoulders, it could be the obliques, hips. Okay, send air towards that direction. Stretch it out. So in breath, inflate the tightness. Exhale, you reach a little bit more. So make it quite active. Keeping your core tight. I don't want you to arch your back. Okay? And And exhale, windmill back up. And bring that leg back to the center, and then we'll do the other side. So toes pointing forward, line up your knee to the middle of your foot. And then we're just gonna flow here for a little bit, get a feel for it before we start holding. Okay. Notice if it feels a little bit different to the other side. Bring awareness to where that might be. How does it feel different? Okay. So slow and controlled. Brace your core as you swing, as you windmill up and down. Okay. All right, and then we're gonna start holding. Okay. So bring the arm down, stretch, inflate that side you're stretching. Slow breaths in, slow breaths out. Slow breaths in, and slow breaths out. Okay, and we're gonna slowly windmill up and stretch the other side using this arm as support on the leg if you must, if you need to. Okay, tuck your ribs in so we're not arching. Okay, keep breathing. If you want a little bit more resistance to help bend, this side is my tight side, so sometimes I actually like to use a weight, or in this case I can use my other arm to pull my arm a bit closer to the side of my ear, to my head. Okay, so I feel I'm quite tight on the lats on this side, so I'm gonna use my breath and send air to where I feel tight. And with the exhale, I'm reaching out a little bit more towards the upper corner of the room. And on the next exhale, we'll slowly windmill back up, controlled way. Awesome, and that's this morning's mobility. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Hope you feel a little bit more awake, a little bit more mobile. And hope to see you on Friday. Have a great one. Oh, you can stay in the room if you want to do the HIIT. Trisha will be taking over.
It's cool.
Or core. Yeah. Stay on. Should I?
Thank you.
Stay on and then I'll
You're
check out.
welcome. Okay. So, do you want to use my phone or you
That's
just
okay.
switch?
I can switch it.
Okay.
Me.
Nice.
Out of this.
It's pretty warm in here.